Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Comedian Rita Rudner said, "My husband and I are either going to buy a dog or we're going to have a child. We haven't decided if we'd like to ruin our carpets or ruin our lives." Now that I've raised my children, I know exactly what she's talking about. Our children completely consume our lives. Oftentimes, we are not rewarded with gratitude. There's lots of drama involved, and in return, we get very little gratitude or praise. Dogs, on the other hand, completely consume our lives sometimes. We end up getting faithful friendship, lifetime companionship, loyalty, and love. I know this from experience. Soon after finding ourselves with an empty nest, my husband and I relocated to the East Coast. I was feeling lonely, I was missing my kids, kind of feeling sorry for myself one day, so I decided to go shopping. I went to the mall and I didn't realize there was a pet store, and I thought, oh, pet store, a puppy, that'll really warm my heart. So I went into the pet store thinking I'll just go in for a quick visit. And I immediately saw the most adorable, little fluffy, buff-colored cockapoo. And I didn't leave it at that. I had to hold him and play with him. Got to know him a little bit. Before I left the mall, I called my husband and I said, "You have to see this dog." And he was, "Oh, all right." And so he came to the mall. We saw the dog together, spent some time with the dog, and he fell in love too. We had a long talk about it over dinner, and we both decided, no, we're empty nesters, we finally have our freedom, we're not going to have the commitment of a dog. So we went home, and that was that. The next day, I kind of felt lonesome again, so I thought, I'll go see the puppy. So I went down to see the puppy and played with him again, and he was so cute. And as soon as I walked in the pet store, he recognized me, I know, and he wanted me to take him home. So that night, I talked it over with my husband again, and he said, "Oh, I went by the pet store today too." So we talked about it again and decided absolutely not, there's no room for a dog in our life. So after about 4 days of going back and forth to see our dog, we decided it would be simpler if we visited him in our own home rather than going to the mall. So that's how we got Harley. We brought him home on a snowy February day. He has been the most wonderful companion. If I am sleeping, he's in bed beside me. He cuddles right up to me. If I'm in my office working, he's at my feet. If I go to watch TV, he's on my lap. So Harley has never been a mistake. We are so happy that we decided to get him. After a while getting comfortable with Harley, just like having children, we decided 2 isn't that much harder than 1. So about a year later, after carefully interviewing dogs in the pet stores, we found another one. Hershey, our second cockapoo, came home with us about a year later. We didn't learn our lesson. We went looking for another dog, and another year later, we ended up with our 3rd cockapoo. With 3 dogs, we had our own pack and a very full king-size bed. So we agreed, that's it, no more dogs. Much like our children, our dogs became the focus of our life. We didn't want to leave the house for very long because we didn't want to leave the dogs unattended. We planned our weekends around things that we could do with the dogs. But we liked to travel a lot, so that became a restriction. We couldn't travel as much with the dogs. because you can't put dogs in a lot of hotels. So we decided to really put all of our attention into the dogs. We bought them a travel trailer so that they could travel with us. So our dogs now had a travel trailer. After making that major lifestyle change just because of the dogs, we decided the dogs really have become our children. As I compare and contrast the differences between the children and the dogs, our children have given us countless fond memories, but also unforgettable dramas. Oftentimes they've been financially draining. We've even had some brief periods of estrangement. Although I cannot imagine our lives without our children, and now our grandchildren. The dogs, on the other hand, they've not been without disappointments. I've had some chewed up shoes. I've had soiled carpets, sometimes some annoying barking, but the dogs have provided us with companionship, unconditional love. We can tell them no and they still love us. If I had to advise Rita Rudner and her husband regarding children, I wouldn't advise them against it, but if I had to advise them about getting a dog, I would absolutely recommend it. Every home needs a dog, and every dog needs a home.
You've got a great way of speaking. You picked a subject that you knew well. Once you got into the story, you started smiling. You let each one of us know a little bit about each of the dogs. We're looking at each one of us in turn, which is a good skill. It's something that experienced speakers have trouble with. Looking at that real quick. You were concerned that your organization might not be top-notch. You had a good opening. The body filled out very well. The stories were perfectly suited to your points. And you had nice smooth transitions because you were telling a story about something that happened. It's a good subject to pick, something that's close to you, something you know, because it's easy to talk about. And we could see as you got going that you relaxed a little bit. You really wanted us to know about Coco and about Hershey. And puppies. Everybody loves a puppy. Every time we go to PetSmart, we stop and see who the new puppies are and who just absolutely can't take on because we've got 2 adult dogs. Your speech value was very good. You were well prepared. Your organization was great. You had an attention getting opening. The body was filled out nicely. Your transitions were very smooth. These are the things that we're supposed to look for in the evaluation. And she did an excellent job of that. You were a little nervous. Not to be unexpected on your second speech. As you got going in the story, the nervousness seemed to disappear. When we come back, we're doing just a little bit of this. And get to a point where you got to think about something. Just stop. This story had everybody on the edge of their seats waiting to hear more about who's to do a star. So don't worry about that. Just settle down a little bit. I told you to smile and have fun. You had fun, I can tell. As you got going, you really started having fun because you were telling us about your kids, your new kids, the little ones, the little 3-year-olds. I mean, I've got dogs and they can be like 3-year-olds at times. You brought everything full circle. You had a good conclusion. Bringing Rita Rudner back into the story was a good way to open and to close it. And you led us to a conclusion that every home needs a dog, every dog needs a home. And that's something I think we'll all take home this time. Great job. Thank you.